Hi everyone, Rene Bastarache here. I got an interesting phone message the other day. A gentleman called in asking a question about having an office in your own home. Basically the question went like this. He says, I was watching the recent video you put out talking about the 10 steps it takes to be a successful hypnosis practitioner. And in one of the steps you mentioned something about opening an office and how you could even have an office in your home as one of the options. He says, that sounds great. He says, but I don't know anybody personally who's actually done that. So I was wondering if that's something that you've done before. Because I'm wondering if it is a good idea. I've heard things, either way, yes you should, no you shouldn't, and there's a safety issues. So I wanted to get your opinion on it. So I thought about it for a little while, and I called the gentleman back and gave him my answer. And I thought that that's probably an answer that a lot of you might be wondering as well. Well, my answer was this. Not only do I know people who have had an office in their home before, I've actually done it several times myself. Matter of fact, my first 3 years in business, we're talking some 20 years ago, I did have an office in my own home. Now, as I mentioned to him, having an office in your home is a good idea if you can't afford to have an office outside, if you're not able to even share an office with some other professional or even work in consignment using their office, then you might want to do it at home. But if you're going to do it at home, okay, not any home will work out. You want to make sure that your home is set up to be able to do that. In other words, you don't want people to have to walk in through your bathroom or through your bedroom, see your dirty laundry on the floor. Your home should be professional looking. Now, my first office I had, well, the home I owned at the time was right across the street from a college. Matter of fact, the house we bought used to belong to the dean. Okay, so this is a special circumstance. Half the building was designed to be an office. You walked in these double French doors off a big porch. There was a waiting room. There was a staircase going upstairs to what I call the business bathroom. Then downstairs, beyond the waiting room was a large library where I did my sessions. Now, the rooms where the session and the waiting room are were completely shut off from the rest of the house. So I had a separate restroom. There was 2 restrooms in the house, one of them for the rest of the house, one for business. So it was separated. As for safety issues, at the time, I was a single dad raising 4 young girls, so I was concerned about safety. However, as I mentioned to this gentleman, you need to work within your realm of practice, okay? If you're not a doctor, if you don't have a medical degree as a MD or in mental health, you shouldn't be working with people on clinical aspects or mental health aspects. So that cuts out a lot of the people you may worry about right away. The main people that most practitioners work on are smoking cessation, weight loss, stress, sports. There's a lot of other things to deal with. Matter of fact, smoking cessation is probably 60 to 70% of most hypnotherapists' business anyway. So those people are safe, okay? They just want to quit smoking. Also, when you're doing your phone call, scheduling the session, you have a chance to speak to the client and learn a little bit about them. Now, if the client seems like somebody I don't want to come into my house, I probably wouldn't want them to come into my office if I had an office downtown either. So chances are, if it's something that I can't handle or I don't feel comfortable with them, I'm either going to refer them to another hypnotherapist who is also a counselor, a psychiatrist, psychologist, a doctor, or I'm not going to take the appointment at all, depending on what it is. So you can kind of discern over the phone whether they're safe or not. So whether they're coming to your home or whether they're going to a downtown office, if something's going to happen, it's going to happen either way. So don't worry about that, but use common sense. And of course, you're going to have some ground rules if you do have children in the house. Make sure that when the door is closed or the socks on the door or the light has some kind of signal, that they know you're in session and they don't come barging in. There's nothing worse than being in the middle of a nice relaxing session and the kids come home from school barging in, Daddy, we're home, we're home. Okay, and the person jumps right out of their chairs having the heebie-jeebies. You don't want that, okay? So have some kind of system so they know that you'll be doing sessions on occasion. They come in the house quietly, they see a sign on the door or some kind of signal that you've placed that you're in session, and they sit and be quiet until you're finished. Or they go outside and go to the neighbor's house or something like that, if that be the case. So you can have an office at home, but make sure it's a place that looks professional, easy to get to, and it's not going to be too inconvenient for your family. So it takes common sense. It's probably going to take a little bit of moving things around, but if that's the only option you have, it's a great way to get started. Thanks for visiting, and have a spectacular day.